A new survey out today from Wells Fargo shows that single women are becoming a more influential part of the American economy. And yet their increased impact on the jobs market has still not improved the pay gap in relation to men, meaning that single women often remain more financially fragile than other parts of the population. Joining us right now with details from that report is Sarah House. She is senior economist at Wells Fargo's Corporate and Investment Bank. And Sarah, lay this out. What exactly do the numbers show?
Right. So what we see is that single women are a growing share of the U.S. population. So they've outpaced the growth in single men over the past decade. They've outpaced the general population as well. And really where the growth is coming from, it's from the rise in never married women. So the fact that women are increasingly marrying later and also not marrying at all. You've seen the overall share of, or at least the overall number of single women in the U.S. population is up 20% over the past decade. And that's having some big repercussions in terms of their financial arrangements, but also that means their arrangements with the labor market as well.
So I'm just looking at the numbers. Never married women working full time earned 92.1% of what never married men earned in 2022. That's down from 95.8% a decade ago. What do you think happened?
Well, I think part of the better pay gap that we saw in around 2012 reflected just how dour the situation was for male-dominated industries like construction and manufacturing. And so I think we've seen that pay gap widen as those industries have done relatively well. But when we look at even where we were before the Great Recession, it's really little change. And I think particularly when it comes to never married women who are less likely to have taken time out of the workforce, it really speaks to some of the persistent factors behind the pay gap, things like which industries women are going into and perhaps why those industries pay less and why women are going into those lower paying industries.
Why do you think that is? Because, I mean, that makes a big difference. It's one thing to say that women are earning less in the same jobs when it's different industries. That's another situation. Why do you think they go into different industries?
Well, I think some of it just has to do with how they're encouraged along the way. So studies show that they don't, in school, for example, they don't always get the mentorship that men do, some of the encouragement to go into some of these better paying STEM industries. So that's beginning to change. I think part of it just also could be cultural in terms of when you have a very male-dominated industry, it can be an intimidating place for women to go into. But even when we see women make inroads into certain industries, we see the relative pay of those industries go down versus industries that are still largely dominated by men. So there seems to be something that the literature shows that women's work just tends to not be valued as much, which leads to this persistent pay gap and can make it very difficult for women to build wealth and also to spend as much as single men.
Some of the more recent studies that I've seen, just looking at college populations, show that the women are actually outpacing men when it comes to college. So it's probably not an education situation, is it? Or is it just if college is one thing, but if you want to break it down by liberal arts versus STEM, maybe that shows a different picture?
I think that's part of it. So we've seen that the increase in women's educational attainment is actually one thing that's helped contribute to a narrower pay gap over recent years. But it still comes down to, okay, what is the degree in and what industries are women going into? So I think that's been the educational aspect of this has been a help, but it hasn't been a panacea to the wage gap by any means.
Okay, Sarah, thank you.